right, what do you think, Tally? Should we rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us. We have fantastic engagement in this webinar. A lot of people signed up for this, so we're excited about it. And it looks like we have a pretty healthy mix of Bravo customers who already have the texting solution, some others who are maybe deciding if this is an appropriate channel to add to your mix. And then a few people who are not Bravo customers. I promise you, you will still get value out of this webinar, and you may be able to take some ideas away and execute some of these strategies and these tactics in your current tech stack. So we want to make sure we're providing value to everybody on the line. What we want to talk about today is how texting can drive a better experience, ultimately how it can drive in-store traffic, and of course, increase your sales. So the why is very important, and we're going to talk about generally what's happening in the market and why text messaging is critical. And Tally's going to take it over and talk about why now and why in the pawn industry right now in particular. So we want to validate the importance of texting. Next, we are going to make some recommendations about, we say here about 2 to 3 campaigns, but I think we have more like 8 to 10 campaigns. Some are really basic, some are a bit more advanced. But things that you can take away and we'd recommend that you turn on based on the results that we've seen from our own customers. And then we actually want to give you a how-to so that you can set up a few basic or advanced texting campaigns in your Bravo platform. Okay, so a couple housekeeping items. There's a lot we're going to cover in a short amount of time. You don't have to vigorously take notes. We'll send you the recording. Also, we love participation, so there'll be some polls that we're putting up throughout the webinar today, but certainly jump into the chat or the Q&A, ask us questions, and we'll try to also leave time at the end for Q&A. And then, you know, we're here to answer any questions. So Tally, in the chat, if you want to, you could drop a link to a form. And basically at any point throughout our presentation, if you have to hop off early or anything, just click on that link and let us know, hey, I want Bravo to contact me and just help me set up these campaigns. We'll do that for you. Hey, I'm a Bravo customer. I don't have texting and I think I want to add it. Just let us know that. Or I'm not a Bravo customer, but you know, I've seen some things that are intriguing and I'd like to talk to you guys more about your solutions. So fill that out at any time and we'll get you to the right person. All right, so let's talk about the why. Why texting? All right, Tally, you can move on to that next slide. Okay, don't click yet. So in the chat, I want people to take a guess about the number of text messages that are exchanged every single day. The closest person will be emailed a gift card. So there's cash in this for you. Any guesses? All right, awesome. I should note these are not just Bravo text messages being exchanged. All right, anybody else want to throw some guesses in there? I'll tell you it's much higher than what you guys are guessing. All right, Tally, let's go ahead and click. 50 billion text messages are exchanged every single day. Texting is not a fad. People love communicating this way. It's in real time, it's on demand, and they can communicate with anybody from anywhere. So I think the closest guess there was Billy. Billy will be emailing you a gift card for your participation. But yeah, this is just like a general stat that shows the amount of communication that people are executing through a text message from day to day. The other thing that we want to touch on is why text messaging is not an annoyance to your customers, right? These are people who know you. They've given you their phone number at some point. They're in your system. You're a trusted brand for these consumers. So this is low-hanging fruit. These are people you already have some sort of a relationship with. And so what the statistics here on the left are saying to us are that they actually want to hear from you through text message, right? So that low-hanging fruit sits there, and we're losing out on opportunities to sell and to market and to add value to our consumers if we're not actually meeting this demand that they're very open to. The other thing is texting is an extremely effective engagement tactic, and a tactic that's going to get you better results than other methods like email, direct mail, or some of those other more traditional marketing and sales tactics. So whether you're looking to make a sale through text messaging, acquire a payment or a repayment through text messaging, or drive in-store traffic, the bottom line is you're going to have better results doing that through texting than you would through some of those other traditional methods. The takeaway here is that money is literally just being left on the table if this isn't something that you're really focusing on and asking for help to be strategic in how to execute text messaging campaigns and strategies. And the last thing is, if we look at the numbers on the right, this is basically a gap analysis. The market's demanding it, right? Almost 90%, and less than half of businesses are actually equipped or using text message to communicate with their customers. What this means is that if your competitors are doing it, there's an opportunity for them to poach your customer because they're providing a different experience and meeting a demand. It also means that there's massive opportunity for you to differentiate yourself from your competitors by simply employing new and perhaps more text messaging campaigns, and we'll talk about that, or just starting to do this and adding it to your marketing and your sales mix. And the last thing I'd say is, if you think about all the efforts in running your business in marketing and in sales, when we look at the effectiveness of text messaging, if you're not doing this, there's an opportunity cost to the focus you're placing on other things that are not as effective, like direct mail, like email, like phone calls. And so putting your focus on some of those more traditional methods that don't have as high of an efficacy rate, creates an opportunity cost to your business. And so if you were able to reallocate some of your focus or some of your resources into texting, you are going to see better ROI. So these are some general market stats to kind of validate the importance, validate the fact that customers would like this from you, and that there's opportunity for you to not only, of course, make more money, increase your cash flow, but also build a much better relationship with your customers. So Tally, why don't you go ahead now and you can talk specifically about why now and why pawn industry.
Awesome, thanks. So first of all, why now? I talk to a lot of pawnbrokers. I'm in every forum on Facebook there is. I read the quarterly reports from First Cash and from Easy, and I feel like I have a pretty good pulse on what's going on in the industry, and that is that there's depleted loan balances, decimated loan balances. Things have started to pick back up in some regions. They have not started to pick back up in other regions, and there's depleted sellable inventory. And what that means is the good inventory is gone and you don't have enough defaulting and you're not buying enough to basically restock your shelves. And so the depleted loan balance, based on customers getting stimulus money, they used that money wisely. They reduced their debt. Your stores were open to do so, and they did that. And so you're flush with cash. And part of the reason that you're flush with cash right now as well is a result of selling all of your inventory. The reason why you were able to sell your inventory is because you were deemed an essential business and other retailers were closed. People had discretionary money that they wanted to spend, and your stores were able to stay open, and you were able to sell your inventory unlike other traditional retail brick and mortars were. That was an anomaly. That anomaly is over now. And so now the question is, can you get your customers back in your door? Can you get those customers who are buying your inventory back into your door with those items that they took home? Can you get those items back? And with all of your customers that redeemed loans, can you get them back, bringing in their loans back into this? That's the question. And I think smart pawnbrokers are asking this. You're not sitting back and waiting and seeing, maybe and sort of expecting that it's going to walk back through your door. I talk to a lot of pawnbrokers that say, I can't do anything right now. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. The loans are just going to come back. They always do. I'm not sure. We don't know if the loans are going to come back. Why? There's so many new alternatives for people to be able to get money. It's never been easier. So now they've got their loans at home, and with, online marketplaces, Facebook, eBay, Amazon, peer-to-peer, OfferUp, ways for people to get instant cash. I think that it's smart to think twice about how these customers are going to be coming back, and they're not just going to walk through your doors without any effort, maybe like you've been able to do in the past. Like Kathleen mentioned, text messages are extremely secure, and this is your opportunity. You've already won their business. You have the relationship with them, and now you need to foster the dialogue, and it needs to be continuous dialogue. So I think that, as we're thinking about the impact, it's really important to think about short-term impact and long-term impact. And let's just talk short-term, like the next 3 to 6 months, and the long-term being anything beyond 6 months. The short-term, you've got lots of cash, great. You have, the entire industry is seeing historically low loan balances. That's not great. We were just hit by being an essential business. And I say hit because you were able to stay open, you were able to sell retail sales, but also there was a depletion of loan balance. So that was a win-lose. And then customers may not need the money. This is the short-term question. There's going to be more stimulus money coming. Perhaps 6 more months of a dry loan cycle. That's a problem. We don't know how this is going to impact pawn. This is all sort of what we've been talking about for the last 10 years, how to be an agile company. How to do that? You need good technology to be able to pivot quickly. Nearly every CEO of major tech companies has stated that the last 2 months, or even sometimes the last 2 weeks, have been like the last 2 years of adoption. So I just want to pause on that for a second, because I think it's really important to realize that people are adopting new behaviors faster than ever before. 2 weeks is what was happening in the last 2 years. How are you pivoting to adapt? Let's talk about work from home and how you've come to rely on business walking through your doors in the past, and that is people driving to work. Pawn shops are great because the location is great based on customers coming into your store because it's close to their home proximity or it's close to their work proximity. And if people aren't driving to work anymore, it's not going to be as convenient for them to come to your store. That's going to be a decrease in traffic just automatically, depending on what happens with work from home. And if you do believe that, and this is part of your short-term hypothesis that people are going to continue to work from home more, you're going to lose traffic as a basis of that. So again, all I'm trying to get you to start thinking about is how you are going to attract traffic. Because you're going to naturally lose traffic, you have to attract the traffic back in plus some. So on the long term, 6+ months, how do you think about strategy? How do you think about what you're going to do? I really, really think that relying on the data, really looking at the condition and finding a way to lend an extra $5 or $10 is going to be super important. So this is super interesting as far as strategy and who your competition is. If you are by a First Cash, just something to know, they're flush with cash too. What happened to you happened to them as well. They also just refinanced and got an extra $100 million in their pockets. If you're not borrowing money now, I know this seems crazy, but money's cheap. You should be looking for ways to borrow money because there's going to be no money to borrow soon. And if you're looking at First Cash and they're your competitive reach, they're hunkering down. I think that that's a good cue. They see something. They need more money. How much more money? $100 million more money. That's a lot. And if you're competing with them, it's going to be harder. And their business model is to compete and take business from the little guy. They have more cash. They're going to be paying more on loans, paying more on gold. and they're positioning themselves to outlive the next perhaps 6 months of a dry loan cycle. So something to keep in mind. Not sure if that's on your radar. If you're not competing against the big guys, you're competing against the smaller guys, and you have a real opportunity here to attract customers into your store where your competition isn't. One thing about being super competitive on what you're paying is that your margins will shrink, hopefully not too much. But what that means is you have to get good at selling the inventory. You have to turn that inventory one more time. Focus on inventory turns, not necessarily margin. And then the last piece before I dive specifically more into text messaging is you got to figure out and start engaging and get all of the different engagement channels with your particular customers as they walk through your door every single day. If you have somebody come in your store and you're doing a cash sale and you're not collecting any data, that's really, really harmful to your long-term strategy of getting those customers back in your store. Stop doing cash sales, collect an email address, collect a phone number, give them your social media accounts, do whatever you can so that you can later remarket them to bring them back in the store. Is this making sense so far? I'll do a Yigal. Why if it's making sense? Yes. And if it's not making sense at all. Cool. All right. So I want to do a quick poll to find out how much you all are thinking about long-term and short-term strategy. So are you hyper-focused on what's happening today and making sure that your store stays open for the end of the day? Or are you focused on 3, 6, 12-month strategy and how you're going to outlast what's going on in the industry? There's no wrong answer here, and I promise if you answer 0, you're not alone. Okay, this is awesome. It's a mix. A lot of people are spending between 6 and 15 hours a month thinking about strategy. That's great. Any time spent thinking about strategy is better than no time spent. All right, so I am going to go ahead and end that. Let's move on to customer stories. So Billy's in here. I posted this in our Facebook group the other day. Something that, Billy and I actually talk about this a lot is how to utilize text messaging in the most effective way possible. And he shared a few stories of how he's done that. One thing that he did is he accidentally sent a text to all of his customers that just said, "Hey," and his phone started ringing off of the hook. That's a really creative campaign without putting even really much thought into it because it was an accident, but a really fruitful end result. Another thing was this half price, text blast that he sent out through Bravo text messaging, $50,000 in sale in 4 hours. It's fantastic. You have to be thinking about this all of the time. Start thinking of text messaging as a marketing investment, and it's a really good use of money. Like Kathleen said before in the statistics, and people open text messages. It's not like email. You can't just bulk delete all of your emails. You got to open the text message. People open it to get the little bubble counter away on their phone. And so it's a marketing investment. And if you're sending text messages for loan notices, that's great. If you're not sending any text messages for marketing, then I think that you're really missing the boat. And again, this can be using any product. It doesn't have to be Bravo's text messaging. It can be any type of texting platform that you want to use. Start using that. Super good use of money. We believe that you should be texting 2% of your total customers every day. And that should be different segments. You should be planning and strategizing who you want to come into your store, when you want them in your store, and what you're going to give them in exchange for coming into your store. This should be fun exercises for you and your employees to get creative, to come up with good campaigns, good messages. You can A/B test, see which ones are more effective. And it doesn't have to be a huge investment. You've got 1,000 customers, 2% is 20 texts a day. That's $1.40 a day. So you can really segment small and try to focus on hitting different segments of your customers all of the time. Okay, so we are going to move into the what here. And the first thing is, here's some ideas for texts and marketing campaigns and also reminder campaigns. So the easiest way and the easiest touch point with your customers is obviously birthdays and store anniversaries. Those two you should be at least touching customers those 2 months of a year, no matter what, to let them know that you exist. Think about all of the other people that are hitting them every single day. Again, Amazon, eBay, OfferUp, they are getting marketed to all of the time. How are they going to remember your store when they need to sell something, when they need a loan, when they want to buy something? So remind them at least those 2 times a year. I really am a big fan of referrals. That is a super easy way to drive new traffic into your store. This isn't only about bringing existing customers back in. How do you get new traffic in? Do you have a really good referral program? Do you have like a give 25, get 25? Can you just be passing out $25 gift cards? Of course, the beauty of gift cards are that people don't usually spend under the gift card. They usually spend more than the gift card. If you've got multiple stores, then you can use gift cards at multiple locations. That's super, super simple for the customer to be able to use that. The holidays are right around the corner. People, if they have extra cash, more than they usually do, they might be able to get an upgraded type holiday present. So if you're not promoting a holiday layaway program, do that. Offer more down payment if you're worried about the long-term effect of that, if you don't have enough inventory. Loan guarantees. Are you guaranteeing your loans? If it's walking out your door, are you bringing that customer back in? One of the things that, I think would be smart to do is on every redemption, send an immediate text. Hey, thanks for coming in and redeeming that loan. If you bring it back, we'll give you 5, 10, 20, $100 more on that loan. So continue to notify them, continue to market to them in these little ways, and it can be one-offs, right? So when they walk out of a sales transaction, shoot them a one-off text message. Hey, thanks for coming in today. If you ever need to get a loan on that diamond ring that you just bought, we do a guarantee of X%, or you can come back in and show this text message, blah, blah, blah. As far as payment reminder campaigns, recurring messages are a really good way to remind people. Obviously, default on loans, the number one reason being they forgot to come in and pay. Are you reminding them to come and pay? With depleted loan balances, how do you make sure that you're not defaulting on loans? You want to keep that loan balance. Every penny that you have in loan right now, you want to keep it there. How do you do that? You remind your customers to pay. By the way, you make it simple for them to pay. Whether that's they're paying on a mobile app, they're paying over the phone, however they have to pay, just make sure that they're paying so that you can keep the loan balance that you currently have in place.
Callie, there's a question I think would be appropriate just to answer before we go into the how, which is about opt-ins. So in order to text message somebody, do they need to be opted in? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so it depends on what state you're in. Specifically, Bravo has opt out, and as you're putting in their number, you can opt them out at the counter. So we have that functionality available. It just depends. It depends on your store policy and how you want to run that. But Bravo has it available so that you can simply opt out. DNT is do not text. If you get them on the app, then they can also opt in and out of communication via the mobile app. So hopefully that answers that. Okay, we have a few Bravo customers on the line. I just want to walk through how to do some of these campaigns within Bravo. So if you're in customer and you go to mobile event, you can quickly schedule birthdays and anniversaries. You can select how many days before their birthday and anniversary you want to send that. You can customize the message. You can drop in their first name and their last name. So again, that's from the customer screen. You're going to click on add new event. You're going to drop down and select birthday, drop down and select anniversary, and whatever sort of discount or promotion you want to run, you're going to be able to do that right from that screen. The beauty of this is it's a set it and forget it. So you can just set it up and then let those text messages roll, and it's twice a year that the customer is going to get hit. The second piece that I want to talk about is data-driven marketing. And so this is really segmenting the customers that you have in your database by their activity. So, and notifying them of the different programs that you have. So maybe it's, your loan guarantee program. Maybe it's a referral. Maybe you want to market everybody that's done more than 5 loans. I saw in our exclusive Bravo Facebook channel somebody asking about VIP customers. How do I market directly to them? Select the criteria. What makes a VIP customer? Is it the number of sales? Is it the number of buys? Is it the number of loans? Or is it the dollar amount of all of those 3? You can totally customize that however you want. Another thing is I always look at competition that pawnbrokers have when I think about campaigns. So I go to Walmart. I look at how Walmart's messaging their app and their text messages. I go to OfferUp. I'm seeing how do they market their app. I'm, Amazon. I subscribe to their text messages. I see how are they marketing their stuff. If you're not subscribed to all of these things, I suggest that you do that. Start to get inspired from the best and the most tested in the world. These people spend a lot of money A/B testing the exact message that gets the exact open rate that they're looking for. You don't have to recreate the wheel on this stuff. I would utilize what's already out there and make it your own to match whatever culture and whatever end result you're trying to get. On the mobile app piece, I thought of something interesting yesterday, and that is you can basically customize whatever message gets sent when you're activating Mobile Pawn. But calling it an exclusive activation code, making it really customer focused, like we really appreciate your business. Here's the exclusive download code for the mobile application where you can submit an item to sell to us and also shop our inventory and get the best deals. That's a really good place to do that. And also, you're trying to disrupt peer-to-peer. So with Mobile Pawn specifically, use that fast cash feature, disrupt what's happening in peer-to-peer, get them to send a picture to your store and get them in your store. Don't say no. Ask for more pictures, ask for more items, ask them to go around their house taking pictures of other things. Whatever you do, don't say no, get them into your store, have a conversation with them, build the relationship once they're in the store. Courtesy reminders. This is new functionality within Bravo. As far as loan courtesy reminders, again, this isn't like necessarily a required notice that you're sending to your customers, letting them know that their loan is coming due. This is a courtesy like, hey, just a heads up, your loan is past due or your loan is coming due. And you can also make it recurring. So do you want it to go out 5 days before their loan is due and then 1 day before their loan is due? So you can really customize the message that's going out, how frequently it's going out. And again, you can A/B test this stuff to see what's working and what's driving traffic into your store. I've got 2 minutes left. I just wanted to talk about a few other things that are new at Bravo. Blue Dog credit card processing. Again, from a customer experience perspective, this makes things really seamless, easy. And no friction, and it's the same experience in all of the different channels. So whether they come into your store, they're buying something online, or they're paying for something on mobile, on your side, what that means is it's streamlined for accounting, and you're able to reconcile really simply on the back end. If you're a gun store, we have like the most exciting product that's in beta right now. That's E4473. If you're up on what's going on, the 2020 version was just announced. The 2020 version requires a new process for being able to process those transactions. So you're going to have to identify the firearm before you end up having the customer fill out that form. So the gun's got to be identified on the form before they start filling it out. Bravo has a really awesome integration now with E4473 that basically pushes that top part where the firearm's filled out to the customer to fill out on kiosk or on mobile. And then Bravo's going to suck that information back in and totally automate that process. So if they answer anything wrong or incorrectly, you've got options there, but Bravo's going to prompt you. So it's going to totally take away the friction from your employees and that stress of errors on an audit. One of the most exciting and requested features this year has been two-way chat. So that's coming out. We will drop that into iOS and Android next Wednesday. Sometimes that does take a few extra days for those two places to approve that. Two-way chats between shopkeeper and Mobile Pond. That's a version 1 of this particular feature. We plan on building out two-way chat in every release until we have a fully baked product. Eventually, text messaging to Bravo, back and forth between Shopkeeper and Mobile Pond, but specifically we'll have queues for your employees to sit in. We'll have really sort of smart ways for your customers to be able to interact, whether you push them a notification, they can ask a question specifically about a loan with all of their loan information, specifically about a layaway with all of their layaway information. So we're building out the roadmap for that, and that is awesome. And then the last thing is we've created a hardware and supplies website. So if you're needing extra printer roll paper or labels or anything like that, we've got a nice site where you can buy it now if you're interested in buying it. I'm just trying to take some of the friction and effort out of you having to do that. So that was a lot in 30 minutes, Kathleen, and I knew that this was going to be like really quick talking. Hopefully that was a super good use of 30 minutes of your time, gave you good ideas. I think, you know, if you can walk away with anything from today, it's that this should be a fun exercise thinking through marketing strategy. We are totally available to help you think through this, share some of the campaigns that work the best, and hopefully you get inspired. And if you're not inspired by me, then go find companies that you admire that are doing a kick-ass job at e-commerce and text messaging and mobile apps, and find what they're doing and get inspired by them. But there are tons of resources out there for you to be able to do that. And hopefully this is just the tip of the iceberg for you exploring those different options. So thank you so much for being here. We'll stick around for any questions for the next 5 or 10 minutes. And thank you for spending 30 minutes of your day with me and Kathleen. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, Tally, do you want to throw up that that last poll? We can get graded.
Yeah.
And we have thick skin, you guys, so be honest about your grading. Yeah, and go ahead, we're not in any rush. We're not rushing you guys off the phone. So if you have questions, let us know. Awesome.
Awesome.
That
Thank you
great.
for the feedback. I think in the first slide you saw that this is a series, so we're going to be doing these every month. There'll be 30-minute pockets of time where hopefully we can inspire you, get excited about being in the pawn industry, get you excited about competing, and get excited about what's to come for this industry. There is a ton of opportunity right now. It just depends on how you want to seize it and what kind of effort you're willing to put forth to capture it.
Yeah, just to clarify there, we're actually doing several of these each month. So it's like 2-3 series. Yeah, so look for those invites.
Jim was quiet today. Jim, you want to say hi?
How's everybody doing? Yes, they were just doing a perfect job, so no need for me to pop in yet.
Jim's just on here to grade us and critique us later.
Absolutely, I will give them harder grades.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you're a customer, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.